So we have our room. We have boss in the room. Get rid of this. Don't really need the grid for this game. I think the next step is to create the demons. Now, the boss is going to spawn demons, and the demons can come out either horizontally or at a 45-degree angle out of the boss itself. So let's create the sprite for the demon. So again, I right-click on sprites, say Create Sprite. Again, as always, we want to give it a meaningful name with no spaces. So again, we're creating the demon sprite up here. Go to where you have your pictures, and we want to choose the demon one. Okay, so we have the demon sprite. Now we want to create a demon object. So here, same thing. We give it a meaningful name. Now make sure not to give it the same name as the sprite. Some people don't put the object or the sprite prefix on it, so they end up with the same name, and then GameMaker gets very confused when you do that. So make sure you say object demon and sprite demon, just so that if you name them both demon, then it's not going to work very well. So we're going to use the demon sprite. And in this one, the demons aren't going to start off in the room. They're going to get spawned by the boss. So they're actually demon spawn. What we want to do when this demon gets created is we want it to move either horizontally to the left or diagonally to the left, either up or down diagonally. So we add an event, and again, this is the create event. So when the demon gets created by the boss, we want to move at angles, either diagonally up, diagonally down, or just horizontally to the right. Now the demons, I don't know, you can mess around with the speed, but we're going to go with 8. Now another thing we want to do with the demon is if it hits the top of the screen or the bottom of the screen, again we want it to rebound just like the boss. So we'll do an other intersect boundary, and just like the boss, we're going to invert our vertical direction when we do that. Again, so we create this object demon, we associated the demon sprite with it. In the create event, so we added a create event, we told it to move in one of these 3 directions at a speed of 8. And then if the demon should cross over the bottom of the room or over the top of the room, it changes directions vertically. But what creates the demon? And the idea here is the boss is going to create the demon. So we're going to go to Object Boss, and we're going to use a new type of event. And this event is kind of strange. This event happens every frame of the game. There's about 30 frames per second. That's called a step inside GameMaker. A frame of animation is called a step. So we want to create a step event. Now there's 3 types of step event. We want to choose the first one. I call it a step event. Seems a little bit redundant. So create the step event. And this event is going to occur every time the computer takes the next step in the animation. So in the step event, what we want to do is we want to roll the dice. And that would be here. It's on the Control tab. Looks like a die on the little hexagon there. Drag that onto your action window for the step event. And the way this works is, suppose you had a die that had 50 sides to it. So a 50-sided die, you roll the die, and you only want to create a demon when you happen to roll a 1. Now remember that you get 30 frames per second, so every second and a half or so you should see a demon, I'm guessing. But you're rolling dice every frame, and you only create a demon if you happen to roll a 1. So here we go, with chance 1 out of 50, perform next. And if that's the case, that's where we want to spawn the demon. So here, we go to the Main 1 tab, and this one that looks like a light bulb, that's the create instance. You're creating an object. Instance and object are synonymous. They mean the same thing. So we drag that out here. And the question is, well, where do we want to create it? Well, it's the boss that's going to create the object. So we'd really like it to spawn right from the middle of the boss. So we're going to say relative. And what do we want to spawn? We want to spawn a daemon. Okay, so make sure you're on the object boss object. Do a create instance that's on the main one. Select what you want to create, and that's the daemon object. And make sure X and Y are 0, and you click on relative. Now my hope is that it spawns a daemon every once in a while. But let's try it and see. What's amazing about all of this is that we're getting all this specialized behavior without much effort. Okay, so there's a daemon, and notice how they're bouncing off the top and the bottom. You'll note that the collision between the daemon and the dragon doesn't happen, or nothing happens when it occurs, because we haven't programmed that yet. Now this daemon speed is a little bit slow for me. I'd like to go a little bit faster. So we might bump it up to 10 maybe. Yeah, this seems a little slow. But again, you're the game designer, so you can decide how fast or slow you want it. So in the create event for the daemon, instead of 8, we're going to use 10. But again, it's up to you. What's nice about creating your own games is you can make it as hard or as difficult or as easy as you want. Okay, now they're going a little bit faster. I think that's better. Now you'll note that the player object can go outside the room. That's typically not how computer games work, but this is just a simple first game, so we're not going to worry about that too much. Okay. So the idea here is that if the daemon touches the dragon, then the game is over. So let's just put that in. Well, I guess this is a good place to stop. I guess the next video that we're going to make, we're going to put the babies in the game, so the mother has to catch the babies. We'll put the collision events between the daemon and the mother dragon, also the daemon and the babies, things like that. But hopefully you're here. If you're keeping up with the class, you've got at least this much work.